how's it going?
You never know who's going to stop by this Auburn coffee shop with the story of addiction.
Everybody that walks through that door has a story.
These days,
and I was miserable. I didn't want to do it.
It seems almost everyone's affected.
There were times where we found Chris after he'd basically passed out.
But in this coffee shop, there's no shame in talking about it.
You don't see the tears here. You don't see the sunken shoulders. You see, hey, this is what's going on. Let's talk about it. You know, are you getting high? You ready for some help? You know, somebody walks in. You have a family member struggling. Well, let's dig in. You know, we're here to do that. We're here to actually dig in with you.
Tim and Angie Keaty help run Battlefield Coffee House. They believe that getting sober begins with talking, even when it's sharing their own painful story.
I mean, it started with pot, and then he got caught with a bottle of vodka or something like that. Between 17 and 18, heroin and meth came in the picture, and then that's when things got real bad.
Heroin grabbed a hold of their son, Devin, and nothing would stop him from finding ways to get high.
His choices didn't make any sense to me. Why would he do this? Why would he do all this? He's got this family who loves him.
Bouts of sobriety and recovery gave the Keatys hope and gave them glimpses of their little boy.
He loved his mom and his sister so fiercely. And that was the best part of him. Right? But heroin just masked all that.
But treatment, even time in juvenile hall, didn't help. And like so many families, the Keatys didn't know what else to do.
People say, well, you got to wait for them to hit bottom, and that means turning them away. And I remember some very difficult times where, I remember one particular night he was cold, and I thought giving him a coat would be like enabling him, so I didn't even give him a coat. And I mean, I just remember, you just don't know what to do.
So here's how I learned about unconditional love.
Then they met this guy.
When is the last time you've looked at them with love?
Art Dolan. This former user turned addiction coach has an approach you most likely have never seen before.
Don't turn this into a story of hope. We're much more than that.
Every Tuesday night,
see, we're a story of possibility.
He dishes out no-nonsense talk.
So the first possibility we're going to present to you is that addiction isn't the problem. It's actually a solution gone bad.
This isn't your typical support group. In this room, there's laughter. And the biggest difference, parents are here with recovering and struggling addicts.
People just have this idea that the drug addict's the problem. And so, they drop them off and say, fix it.
Art doesn't think shipping kids off to 30 days of treatment works long term. He believes in giving parents not just hope, but solutions. And it starts with reconnecting the entire family, like the Keatys.
Art taught me something different. No, he's making it out there with no help from you. And because of this particular case, the way you draw him in is connection. And you bring him close to you every chance you get. And so I started learning to interact with him. I'd invite him over even though he was high.
After meeting Art, Devin got clean for 6 months. Then another 6 months. The Keatys hadn't seen this side of their son in years. They enjoyed Thanksgiving together, then Christmas.
When we saw him, he looked amazing, and we were like, wow. And then,
really good.
Yeah.
For Devin, this was the longest streak of sobriety since he started using, a victory celebrated by the whole family.
There was no doubt. There was no doubt in my mind that I was going to win. Yeah. And that's not what happens.
Devin overdosed. He was just 23 when he died. Out of tragedy came purpose. Angie partnered with Art to start Battlefield Addiction, creating an entire team of counselors and experts who help families who have loved ones fighting this epidemic.
Every 7.5 minutes, we're losing a life.
But just like the story of addiction, there are setbacks, struggles, tough times.
A couple weeks ago, we made the decision to close the doors until further notice so we can put our time and energy into funding.
So many young people who need treatment, and there's not enough money for them to help.
We're looking for business partners, we're looking for real estate agents, we're looking for car dealerships. There's going to be an entire demographic of young people coming out of this heroin epidemic. They're going to need cars, they're going to need houses, they're going to need bank accounts. So we're looking for all those businesses to come partner with us.
Someday soon, the coffee house will reopen, and they hope it will become a place where addicts can work to pay for treatment, where recovering addicts have purpose to help them reconnect with the community.
We owe our families in the community a lot more than hope. We have a lot of young people that need help in sober living and treatment. They need funding. These families need funding.